What's up, everyone, and welcome to Friday's edition of the news. 3 days in a row. Now, I'm going to start off today by saying you're welcome. I finally found my pop filter, so those of you that hate the violent swinging of sound by not using one will rejoice. Now I want to start in Australia today, where officials are warning people, and I saw the story about Noel Ramage, who drowned after his small boat was capsized by a crocodile. I think I saw the story a few days ago maybe, and I really didn't want to talk about it because it was just, I don't know, kind of a downer, and I was trying to find something a little happier to talk about than somebody killed by a reptile, or death caused by a reptile. But I thought it important to bring it up on Friday because moving into Saturday, obviously everybody's going to be on boats all over the world, and officials are saying that they don't recommend anybody go out in a small boat, especially in the Northern Territories where larger crocodiles are more abundant. Now, thankfully, in this case, the coroner is recommending that education is much better than regulation, but rangers are saying that it's smart to go with a minimum size of 4 to 4.2 meters, which for those of you that use that system, that makes perfect sense, but for everybody else, it's about 13 feet. And now I'm going to move into kind of two stories in one. Out of Florida, and I really didn't want to talk about this because the story mentioned PETA far too much, and I really didn't want to share a link that even brought up the subject of PETA because I really don't like PETA. But this story is more about the dog that saved the little girl. The 2-year-old German Shepherd apparently got between an eastern diamondback rattlesnake and the little girl, refusing to move, taking 3 bites before the situation was finally over. Now, they do say that the dog is going to survive, and it actually went back home already after a lengthy vet stay, and more than likely a substantial bill. Now, the part I want to mention about PETA, which I'm really not going to get too far in, is that one of the things they sent this family are vegetarian dog treats. And it just, for some reason, it really bothered me. Dogs are carnivores, and I don't understand why we have to push. I mean, if you don't want to eat meat, if you're a vegetarian, if you're watching this and you're a vegetarian, I totally respect your choice to not eat meat. Me, I like myself a steak. I like myself a hamburger. I like fried chicken. I like all that kind of stuff. It's just what I enjoy. But to an animal that is naturally a carnivore, and to anybody that wants to argue that dogs are not carnivores, there's already very well supported evidence that they are in fact carnivores, and any sort of claims that they're omnivorous have never been substantiated. So I just don't understand why we would want to push a vegetarian treat on a carnivore. It makes no sense to me. But main part of this story, a German Shepherd defending its owner against a rattlesnake, which is pretty awesome news. You don't hear about it every day. And now we're going to move on to our main story of the day. Now, this story also out of Florida caught my eye because it's titled, "Man-Eating Monster Crocodiles May Be Florida's Next Invasive Species." And for obvious reasons, I had big issues with this, and I just couldn't help but to actually read the article and find out about it. And basically, I guess there's some halfway decent science going on here, even though I don't really agree with the fear-mongering title of it. But from what I understand, they found 3 Nile crocodiles in Florida, all juveniles, and after DNA testing determined that they come from the same place, the same source, the same mother or thereabouts. And after testing other local known captive crocodiles, there was no match, so they're saying that this is either a newer registered animal that this is coming from, or person, or an illegally imported and kept animal released. They believe that a pet being released is probably the most likely option. Now, it's kind of going to be interesting following this because it really, to be perfectly honest, does not come as a huge surprise to myself, and it's going to be interesting to see how the, I don't want to call it the Nile crocodile community, but the people that keep these animals legally obviously confront the situation. I mean, as large as the keepers of giant constrictors go, we kind of already know how that situation was confronted when it was posed to them, but I haven't really heard anything about, I've heard something from tegu owners about the ones they find in the wild in Florida, but not about crocodiles. I'm not 100% sure there's many Nile crocodile keepers in the country, probably a lot more than we really know about, probably most of them not legally, but I have no idea how many legally registered owners there are in the country. So it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out. And that, my friends, has been all your news for this Friday. If you'd like to read any more about these stories, those links are right down below here in the description. And as always, if you're still watching, my name is Jason White. Now you know what's going on in the reptile world. Be good to each other, and we'll see you Monday.